Hey,
Hey, young Jake, how are
good man. How are you?
you? I've been pretty good. Massive busy day.
Yeah.
Starting off yeah, just had to do a lot of check-ins with a few clients, and then had to do a bit of like last minute deliveries because I do run like a meal prepping company
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So yeah, so kind of do that, and then check-ins, and then obviously just pick up a few goodies for the wife as well, and then yeah, now just like straight back in and whatnot. So.
Sounds like a very busy morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's good though. Kind of keeps me on my feet on top of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it kind of keeps me accountable. But yeah, how yourself? How's things?
Yeah, good, good. A bit tired work this morning. It was funny. I like got home and I was realizing like the 3 hour time difference. I was like, holy shit. I got up this morning when it would have been like 11 p.m. your time, like in
Yeah, oh
Perth. And I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. Because I was like, oh yeah, it's about like when I got home, it would have been like 9 a.m. for you, and it was like 12:15, 12:30 for me. So I was like, damn, he's like only maybe just been up. And I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. He's probably been up since like 5 a.m. getting shit done, client work,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
But kick in, had my ghost, so feeling energized, ready,
yeah.
kick the rest of the afternoon off.
No, hell yeah. I haven't had an engine drink in a very long time actually. Like I've probably only had it like probably a handful of times.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
gonna
because I
lie.
remember I remember seeing you posting something actually, which was funny. It was like you hadn't actually had one, and then I can't remember if someone convinced you and you had like a monster for the first time. Whatever you were
Yeah.
posting on your story.
So my mate Jake Cockridge, who won his open class for
Yeah,
Classics for last season, yeah, because I was doing a lot of like one-on-one posing with him. So just one day he kind of just rocks up with like a ghost can, and
yeah.
I think it was like the I think it's like I think it's like the sour.
Or the yeah
The
sour
warhead one, yeah,
watermelon.
the
Yeah,
warhead one, yeah. So you got me the warhead one, which apparently that's like probably like a mid like drink.
yeah,
And I was like, fuck, this actually tastes pretty good. And then yeah, all of a sudden everyone's like, no, you have to get on white monster. I'm like, what's with this white monster thing? They're like, no, it's the drink that everyone drinks. I was like, all
yeah,
right, like so I had one can, and then yeah, since and I was like, you know what? Since Costco is selling like a massive pack of like 18 for $40. I was like, sounds like a bargain. So I literally have like basically a row filled with like monster cans like at the moment.
hell yeah,
But yeah, I would only drink it if I really need it now.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I could ever drink that every single day. I don't think I could.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Like I only just started, I guess like well when I met my partner like 2.5 years ago, she I was like the first time I like had coffee. I'd
Yeah,
like never drunk coffee. Like I maybe had like a sip once. I was like, this is like tastes like ass, like it's too bitter.
yeah,
And then because she loves coffee, so I started kind of I guess like conforming and getting into it. And now I really liked it, but I'd always stayed away from energy drinks. And then I just remember like at work one day and we were at work at the same place and I was like, fuck, I'm like so tired. And we're like, let's go halves on one because I
yeah,
don't think she had one either. And we got like the gold monster and that tastes like kind of like pineapple, I guess,
yeah,
to me. And it was like kind of nice. And then I always had seen people drinking the white one, so I finally like gave that a go and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it.
yeah,
That's like pretty decent. But yeah, I could never. I don't know how some people drink like 4 or 5 of them in a day. I get it from like a prep standpoint of like,
yeah,
it's like 0 calories, like
yeah,
5 to be exact. But like just in general, like I think like yeah, one's my limit. Like I'll have like a coffee in the morning and then depending on the work day, so to speak, I'll have yeah, maybe one more. But then I started getting into ghosts and I love they have what's it? It's like lime and lemon. It tastes like I love Mountain Dew, and it
yeah.
tastes like
Oh,
Mountain
dude,
Dew.
I'm a sucker for Mountain Dew,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
man.
And it's just so good. This like yeah, lemon lime. It's like I'd almost say it's better than Mountain Dew, and it's like my brain knows it's got caffeine in it, so I'm like
Yeah,
yes. And then yeah, it's weird. It's like I don't know how to. It's like Mountain Dew. It's like Mountain Dew tastes to me like it's like lemonade and Fanta. It's like it's a soft drink. Like
yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah. I would say that's a really good description, actually. Yeah,
Yeah, where it's like, yeah, this has like it's like a softer taste where it's like it doesn't the ghost version of it does not feel like a soft drink. And then I feel like it's less carbonated for some reason as
yeah,
well. So it's just ended up being like this perfect combination. So it's like the only thing that I'll drink now when I can
Yeah.
like find them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think with like a lot of the energy drinks as well, like yeah, like, I can't do like any carbonated drinks at all.
Yeah.
Like I'll take a few sips and I'm like full, like instantly. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like that's why, like as I was growing up, like I was such a fat kid back then, but like I would actually I'll get like a bottle of like Mountain Dew and I'll actually shake it and I'll just slowly release
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the lid just to get rid of that carbonation and it would just be just like literally just be like Mountain Dew juice.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
drinking that from. So that's what I used to do when I was a kid because I was like, if I drink a little bit, I'm gonna get too
You
full. I
get too
can't eat
fickle.
like my whole fucking pack of like Smith chips
Yeah,
like
yeah,
along
yeah.
the way as well. But yeah, I was a massive fat kid like back then. Like I would do like I remember like even for breakfast as well. Like my breakfast every single day was like 2 or 3 packets of megarine, 2 whole eggs, like every single morning, and with like at least like 500 mils of milk.
Damn, that's a big breakfast.
Yeah, it's a big breakfast, and like yeah, like I probably at my fattest when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I was in year seven, I was like 150 centimeters, but I was like walking around like 75, 80 kilos.
Shit.
Yeah, I was a big kid,
Yeah.
like first start off. So,
Well,
um,
well, that's like kind of a great segue to into because I kind of wanted to hear how I guess you found bodybuilding, how you kind of got into because like I see you as someone who's bit of I guess I would label it like a veteran competitor. You've been
yeah,
competing for quite some time. You've done quite a few different shows. So I'd love to kind of for anyone listening to kind of get to know how did you get into bodybuilding?
yeah. I would say, yeah, as I was growing up, for some reason, I just really liked watching sports
Mhm.
at the very start. So it first started off with me just obviously just watching a lot of soccer when I was a kid. Um, I was still too fat to play. I got gassed out really easy running the field, and then all of a sudden, my mum started to get me on a treadmill like every single morning at 6 a.m. When I was like starting from like year five all the way to year seven, because during that time, like even years before that, I was really skinny.
Yeah.
But then my dad did not like the fact that my mom was getting me to get skinny.
Yeah.
So my dad's like, you know what, you need to start like it's like you need to tell it's like you need to start like feeding our son like food. So then like yeah, again, like, my mom was just buying like McDonald's, Smith chip, like literally I'll eat like the big pack of chips like once like every single day once I get home. Again,
Yeah.
like drinking Mountain Dew like as my main like drink source as well. And then yeah, eventually yeah, just got really yeah, and like once I got to year seven, again like standing at 150 centimeters and then I've gone from like I think it was like 60 kilos all the way 60 kilos back then all the way up to like 75, 80 kilos and I got really fat and then eventually like I got a few health problems on top of that like I was getting borderline like type 2 diabetic on top of that and then immediately my mom was like yeah, you need to start exercising again.
Yeah.
So we tried Muay Thai. That only lasted 6 months. Then from Muay Thai, I ended up switching to basketball.
Mhm.
And I actually lasted for a couple of years. Actually, I actually really enjoyed it, and it got to the point where I lost a lot of weight due to that. And I was actually started playing like regionals as well. Then after basketball, I kind of jumped into gridiron on
Yeah.
top of that. So I did about a year of gridiron. It was really, really fun, honestly. Like I think that's where I was able to kind of develop like my traps
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
back then because we'll just be wearing all
The
that armor
gear.
gear as
Yeah.
well. And like especially like the helmet would weigh at least like 5 kilos. So like
Yeah,
if
it's
you just
crazy.
tilt your head like to the left, you're just like leaning over to the left and whatnot. But yeah, I would say that definitely helped out in terms of like I guess like building like some form of foundations
Mhm.
into it. Then after gridiron, eventually like completely stopped playing sports, but then all my mates were 40 players and again they all had fucking like abs and whatnot. And I was like the only one that had like, bit of a belly and just like big traps. So I'm just like kind of like walk around like this
Yeah.
throughout high school. And eventually I started getting like really bad like body dysmorphia because I was like, man, all my mates have like, chiseled abs. And meanwhile, I'm here looking like a fucking turtle with my
Yeah.
neck. And then eventually I actually started going like actually started doing like a bit of like home gym, like with like the multi-function like pieces
Oh
where
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
chest press, like a lat pull down, like a leg press, and whatnot. But I completely did not do legs at all. It was all just chest and
Yeah.
back
I feel
during
like
that
that's what
time.
most people when you kind of like most kids when they get into the gym, it's like they just completely neglect their legs, and it's like they just
Yeah.
like as much chest work and arm work as they can possibly do.
Yeah, so then, and especially during our time as well, it was like the Ziz era as
Yeah, yeah,
well. So like we're trying to get to the whole aesthetics, bra and all that kind of stuff and shit. We're just like all in good fun. Then yeah, eventually during that time as well, because I was in a relationship in high school, went through like a massive breakup, and I was like just completely depressed now. And this is like yeah, like as soon as I left high school, I was like, man, I've got nothing else to do, but I really, really like enjoying going to the gym. So end up getting a job working as like a bit of like a kitchen hand at like a small like sushi store. And as I was getting a bit of funds, like my mom kind of helped me out with that as well for me to join up a gym. And eventually I started training. Yeah, started training from there in 2013 when I first started. My brother and his mate took me under his wing. Kind of trained, yes, kind of like trained casually here and there, and eventually, like there was one bloke in the gym who was a competitor. His name was Dean, and like he came up to me, it was like, it was like, why don't you try, competing for the first time? It was like you've kind of built like a good foundation. I was like, I can't imagine myself like wearing speedos and like oiled up on stage. Like I don't know how to feel about that, you know. And then like eventually, it's like, no, you should try it out. Like there's like gave me like a few copies of like old school Flex magazines of
yeah. That's cool.
like Flex Wheeler, Kevlar Roney, and then Ronnie Coleman and whatnot. And as I was looking, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like they train really hard. Like they have like
Yeah,
sick bodies. And yeah, and eventually I started doing my started doing my first show in 2015 in NBA. Um, Ended up doing really poorly during that show because I didn't realize like the amount of commitment that's required for
yeah,
me to be like to not only be in prep as well, but the amount of discipline you have and like again like transitioning from being a fat kid eating everything in the kitchen like kitchen sink to like trying to eat like chicken, rice, and broccoli
yeah, yeah.
or fish and rice cakes whatnot. But then on that day, like I fell in love with it, man, and like yeah, ever since like I just kept going forward.
Yeah.
But I guess like all throughout the years of my competing there was like a lot of ups and downs and whatnot. I guess being like in the wrong environment at the same time as well, not really surrounding myself with like-minded people. Um, but I would definitely say within the past 3 years, like getting the chance to like hang out with like the group of boys, like like Josh, Tom, Dashy, Jake, and all that, has really not only changed my perspective on how I approach with bodybuilding, but just knowing the fact that I have like a group of boys in my corner, like it's not bullshitting me, like just tell me like you fucking push and you know realize your potential as well. So, but yeah, since then, like it's been like it's upward trajectory as well on top of that. So
Yeah, starting to kind of find that momentum. And it really shows
yeah,
like the importance of, the right circle, being around the right people, and then that kind of then affects your environment and then affects you and can, yeah, really start to get you feeling more focused and aligned.
yeah, 100%, man. And I guess also because like as I kind of progress into like into my bodybuilding career as well, I always refer back to like really refer back to my previous experience. But like, look, like if you want to be like if you want to like be like mediocre, just do what you did back then. And
Yeah.
like immediately I was like, no, I don't want to. Like, because I've been doing this for well around like 10 years.
Mm.
And it's yeah, again, it's only been like 3 years that I've been building myself back up again. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm finally starting my footing. So yeah, at this point now, like I guess like I'm actually glad I went through those experiences as well. Despite being like 30 years old, but again, like I always think 30 is still really young in the sport
Yeah.
as well. And like I would say it's like prime time for you to really push like really, really hard and like yeah, eventually yeah, hopefully try to go for a pro card in the future. So
So yeah, you would say your goal is the pro card and you just kind of like putting one foot forward, getting the work done, and just seeing where it takes you. Like I think you have incredible shape. I think you have like a great physique, and I'm excited to keep seeing you level up. And that's like, half the reason why I wanted to get you on here because I think you're an amazing competitor and you've been, relentlessly putting in the work over the time. And I think it's cool to see there's some people that you see and they make progress but it's like only really progress every 3 years, or
yeah,
they kind of don't make progress at all and they're just kind of like competing and it's kind of like, well, where are you going? And
yeah,
I feel like for myself and like watching your journey, you've definitely like shown you're putting in that effort, you're learning and you're trying to get better each time. And I think every time you have stepped on stage, there has been some form of improvement.
Yeah. I guess also in a sense as well, like there's a lot of transparency on top of that as well. Because like, when you see other competitors as well, especially like the new up and comers, like everyone thinks like, oh, it's all smooth sailing, like everything's like going up and up, up. But in reality, like we all go through a whole lot of shit behind the scenes, like on top of that. Like there's one point where I did my first prep where like with my wife now. Um, like she never understood it, but then when I did my first prep, like it got to the point where like we actually nearly broke up because she just didn't understood it.
Yeah.
But then one day she's like, you know what, I want to try to understand this. And she was like, you know what, like I want to do a bodybuilding competition just to understand where your perspective is and what your
That's so
experiences
cool.
are. But at the same time, again, because she's such a foodie as well, she's like, the reward is just to eat more food. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like I'll prep for the show. And then yeah, like I remember at one point when I was prepping my wife, she was like, yeah, she got sick for like a couple of days, but then she's like, I want to go to the gym. I'm like, you need to rest. Like, no, I
Yeah.
want to go to the gym. I don't care. Like, I want to win. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, do you want the husband side of me or you want the coach side of
Yeah.
me to push you through? It's like she wants the coach side. I'm like, okay, sweet. So I remember like I put it into like a leg, onto the leg extensions, and like I was doing like more like an occlusion set on
Yeah.
her, so like blood restriction work. And it got to like the second interval of that set, and she was like bawling out crying because like she's in pain, she's
Yeah.
sick. She doesn't want she I know she wants to push, but she just needed someone to be there. So like the minute she starts to kind of like rest in between, I'm like, go, like you need to
Yeah.
push. I was like, it's like how bad do you want it? And she just kept pushing and like again just bawling her eyes out completely. But then once she was done, like it was she had that sense of like gratitude like
Yeah.
all of a sudden because she's like she's never pushed that hard ever in her life, but not only that, like she has someone that's really close to her to have to push it throughout that, and then that's when it clicked to her. She's like, this is what bodybuilding is like when
Yeah.
you're with someone. And then yeah, eventually once she competed for her show, she ended up winning like overalls in sports
So
models,
good.
which is pretty sick as well. So but yeah, like even having like an amazing wife like by your side or amazing girlfriend by your side, man, that is such a game changer
Mm.
when it comes to your like with bodybuilding as well, because you need someone there in your corner like nonstop, just trying to push you as hard as you can, like just listening, just hearing you out whenever you're like, yeah, you get through dark times, and like just knowing the fact that when you have someone like that, again, you just have that relentless push of like just trying to be better, not only for yourself but also just as a couple as
Mm.
well, and it just builds like a stronger bond as well. And like, yeah, whatever adversities you guys, yeah, like both of you might go through, yeah, you just feel like you can take on the world on top
Yeah.
of that. So yeah, it's been about nearly heading towards 3 years since being married, and like it's been the best years of my life just being with her.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. There's nothing better than true like unconditional support. It like really
Yeah,
is that game changer. And if you can find that in your partner and you can strengthen that bond, it's like you really see like the depths and level of like what unconditional I guess love is and support and where that can really take you and push you. I'd love
yeah,
to know, did you find it hard? Like, was there times where like did you how hard did you find balancing between going, I'm your husband, but you also want me to push you as a coach. Like, did you
yeah.
did you find it easy, or did you struggle with it sometimes? Did you at any point think maybe I should step away from this and someone else should coach you?
Yeah, I mean, like to be quite frank, there was a lot of challenges in doing so, because part of it it's like as a husband, as a man, like I want to protect my wife as much
Mm.
as possible, right? Um, but at the same time, like with my competitive mindset as well, it's like I want to bring the best out of her
Yeah,
as well. And like I know like my wife is like insanely mentally resilient, especially with like the amount of experience she just went through throughout her childhood. But at the same time, I'm like, well, like the more sharp and harder mindset that we can build together in this moment, um, like the better that we are able to kind of troubleshoot our way out whenever things does get hard. And to be quite frank as well, like within the past 2 years of our marriage, yeah, there were a lot of challenges that came along the way, but we were able to persevere all throughout because we just knew for a fact that it's like, look, we've been through worse,
yeah,
like on top of that as well, like whether it's our childhood, whether it's like past experience or whatnot, like we've been through a lot worse. So like, yeah, this is like a piece, like it's like a piece of cake. It's just a flesh wound. So yeah, so like yeah, there is a challenge in doing so, but at the same time, like I know that my wife just want like my wife is really brutal with everything as well,
Yeah.
especially with like just with that honesty as well towards me. But like I like that, like because I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
like because there's no yeah, because like if there's no point like talking about like like I guess like soft lies just to kind of soften a blow towards people,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
instead like the truth does hurt as well, but no matter how brutal it is, but it's like the reason why it's so brutal because like like within the truth as it is like when you have mates that are saying that kind of stuff or your wife saying that kind of stuff like they're saying it because they want you to improve.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like yeah, so any sort of criticism I get like at this point, I'm like I can just kind of look at like even yeah, I can just look at it and just be like, all right, like there is a few things I need to work on. Like even despite if it's like some random insult, like if there's one guy that's like, oh, you have a shit back, I'm like, oh, I know I have a shit back. Like that's what I'm working, like that's what I'm
Yeah.
working hard at. Like and even though it can come as an insult, I'm like, as a competitor, like I'm just trying to look for things to improve on. So I'm like, yeah, I have a shit back. I need to keep working on it, and that's basically it. So, um, but yeah, like I think within that aspect is yeah, within that aspect as well. Like yeah, just as long as I'm able to kind of keep that improvement on top of that as well, whether it's my career, whether it's like with business wise, like any sort of criticism comes along the way, I'm always taking them like as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think you eventually get to a point with resilience anyway, where you can kind of take criticism and you know if it's like genuine to help you improve as a person or
Yeah,
improve your life, or if it's just criticism because it's someone who's jealous of you. And
yeah,
I think, once you can kind of learn to distinguish between either or, life really just, I guess, gets better. It gets
yeah,
easier because you can go, yep, this is something that if I can improve this and I need it. Because I think most people are afraid of criticism. People are too scared to take things on, take face value, hear the truth because 9 times out of 10, they're kind of running away from it.
yeah,
And then when someone brings it to them, they kind of want to shrug it off, ignore it, or, play the victim. And then they end up just like not improving.
yeah,
So it's
and
really
like
cool to hear that you kind of like are in that really good headspace and through the things that you've been through, let alone having your partner who, you both seem to help lift each other up,
yeah.
is really nice to hear.
Yeah, and I guess also with my previous experience as well, working as a chef as well, like I remember like the head chef I was working for, man, like he was brutal. Like if you fuck up like a fillet of fish, like he would just like throw that shit out of the window and was like fuck off. And, like it's basically like kind of like a Gordon Ramsay is
Yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like workspace, but again, it's like they're not doing it out of spite against you. They're doing it because they want perfection and they want the
Yeah.
best out of you. Which is a great translation in towards bodybuilding because with bodybuilding, you need to have very like really thick skin because again, like you'll be on stage, like and although yes, like the main focal point is getting judged by the judges, but there's everyone else that's looking at you, just judging you as
Yeah.
well. And like there might be some people that might not like your physique or that they might not agree with your placing. Um, but again, like within like I guess like a huge fog of like criticism that you're getting from everyone else, like the main people I'm more concerned of is the judges and those who are real close to me and my coach, and that is it. Like everything else, whether it's like compliments or like again criticism wise, it's kind of just white noise like noise for me. But when those compliments or criticisms that comes from your close friends or the judges, like that means more than anything in the world.
Yep.
So yeah, in this game, like in this bodybuilding gig, like you definitely need to have really thick skin because if you don't, then like you're just gonna get emotional, you're just gonna get stressing yourself out nonstop, and yeah, you kind of just lose that focus and self improvement as per
It just
se.
it just ends up backfiring on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a massive backfire. So yeah, so whether you win, whether you lose, whether you do agree with it or not, just be like, you know what, like next time I just need to come in so undeniable that you have no choice but to look at me.
Yes, that's
So
right. That's the
yeah,
best mentality.
so that's and yeah, I guess that's why like how I'm going to lead up to the next show for next year for season C. When I compete, it's just head down, just keep pushing forward, fucking grind through it away. Basically, just like Dorian Yates, kind of like grotesque, and
Yes.
that's it. And like when you show up, you show up, and that's
Yep.
it.
Be undeniable, know you've ticked every box and just let the package speak for itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With So how long were you like doing the chef for? Because I want to kind of understand from, I guess, because you're also a coach now and like you're doing
Yeah.
posing coaching. So when did you kind of transition from, I guess, being a chef, but then you also like having your food prep company?
Yeah.
How did that
Um,
kind of all evolve to like where you are now?
yeah. So yeah, again, like as my first job, I work at the kitchen hand for a small sushi store. And then eventually like kind of worked up the ranks from there.
Mhm.
And then I ended up like working at like another sushi store. So yeah, I was mainly primarily like primarily just focused on like Japanese cuisine in that regard. So I only did that within like a year and a half. But because I love cooking so much, I just ended up just kind of teaching myself along the way of learning how to cook. So I would say I'm more of a home cook
Yeah.
than as a chef. Um, and then as times went by, like so as soon as I stopped being a chef, I worked as a tradie for my dad's company as a glazier. Then again, during that time, I was still like cooking like, cuisines, and whatnot, like back at home, just to kind of improve my skills and whatnot, and in hopes to be, back in the kitchen again. But I think after realizing like, the work hours I was putting in, like I'm talking like 14 hour like work days, like
Yeah.
easily every single day. And it's all from like the prep work, all to, service hours and just mainly cleaning as well. The cleaning part is just like dreadful. Like, got to make sure all the benches are spotless. Like you'll clean the floor with your hand, like on your hand, like the hands and knees,
Yeah.
just scrubbing away, and whatnot. And yeah, just making sure like you're complete. Well, doing like stock up checks as well in the back end, and then and so after my trader years, that's yeah. As I was working, COVID hit, couldn't really get any jobs at all. And then, yeah, me and my wife had this idea. It's like, we should start like some kind of like food prepping company. I was like, I'm not too sure. Like, working in the kitchen's ready dreadful enough. But she was like, no, I think there's a market out there because first off, like, you know how to write meals out. You know what people need to eat, but at the same time, you can make meals tasty. So I was like, oh, okay, like that'll be really interesting to try to hit off. So then, like, yeah, my wife started doing a bit of research in regards to that, like looking at different companies like My Chef, U Foods, and looking at price ranges. Like, all right, let's try to match these for the meantime, and let's try to do like a small handful from home. Um, and during COVID time as well, it's like you can't really go out of your house for deliveries, but I'll just still sneak my way out
Yeah.
just to deliver this meal. So I just need to put food on the table. But then since at that point, I kind of just kept working, and then people started liking the meals, and I didn't really do, I do I did zero advertisement whatsoever. It was all through word to mouth, and then eventually, um, within like that first year, like yeah, I had quite a bit of orders. So I was like, you know what, like, I can actually start doing this as a job at that point. And plus, like my old man already had considerations to kind of retire his company
Yeah.
and start doing like more subcontracting stuff. And then, yeah, 4 years later, I'm still doing it like till this day. But at the same time, I think in the long term, I don't think it'll be wise to keep doing to do my bodybuilding chef meal prepping business, just due to the fact that me and my wife, we do want to have kids in the future,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be wise to be in the kitchen nonstop,
Yeah.
like cooking away. So hence why I actually started coaching this year, to have like a bit of a career change, but at the same time, because I can't sit down and do nothing at all, like I need to be doing something, whether it's
Yeah.
work or not. So yeah, so if I can get the chance to kind of still travel around the world with the family, with my wife, and still work from my laptop, like that's like the
That's the dream.
ideal,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the ideal dream job. So, but yes, yeah, still working my way up into the coaching biz, like actually posting a lot more frequently now
Mhm.
and whatnot, especially with the whole like controversial stuff I've been posting as of late as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, like it's like I've never had like yeah, it's been no, it's been a blessing to get into the coaching as well, despite the demand of work. But I generally love it.
That's the main thing. I think at the end of the day, you got to love what you do, and it doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter, having a business is always going to be a lot of hours, it's always going to be a lot of work. You just want to make sure you love what you do. And I guess like, it's funny, there's that whole argument of like it's like love what you do, you never work a day in your life. But then it's also kind of like understanding that it's not always necessarily mean it's going to be quick cash. And
Yeah,
I think like that's the misconception. Some people are like, oh, let me start a business, I can get really rich. But it's like, yeah, but then those things are not stuff that you're going to enjoy doing. So,
yeah,
make sure you enjoy what you're doing and just take the like whether it takes like 2 3 years to actually get where you want to get to, but as
yeah.
that at least you're enjoying the whole time.
Yeah. And like yeah, that was definitely one lesson I've learned from coaching as well. Because yeah, because I did realize like man, the amount of like detail and the amount of like I guess like experience of like just being on top of everything with your clients as well. Like it's like I'll be driving in the middle of the road and I've got clients just next to me. He's like, oh, like what do you think of my form? And I was like, I'm just watching it as I'm driving at the same time and trying to reply to them at the same time. But again, it's like I just wanted to try to provide the best for my clients as well. Because yeah, it's like if you have like such great customer service, especially towards your clients, like that beats everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just want to make sure that my work is still still high in quality work, but at the same time, just making sure that everything's all well in place as well. So yeah, so it's a different level. It's a different level of like beast. Like I'm trying to tackle on. But at the same time, it's just there's so much to learn about it, and like you'll be finding ways to to be able to navigate your way within the workspace as well. So yeah, but like yeah, I'm also very very excited to try to see where this takes me as well, and yeah, just hopes one day to start living as like a full-time coach, a full-time bodybuilder on top of that. So
Do you have you ever thought about with the meal prep company like training people up to kind of take you so you can still kind of have it, but then have like a team of people, or it's just like yeah, something that you just want to completely like step away from?
I think it's more something that I want to completely step away from. I think just in terms, again, just in terms, because again, like the level of demand that I have to be there to work as well. Yeah, again, it's just not feasible for me. Especially during prep, like my prep last year, like that was the most brutal prep that I've ever been to. Because again, like I've throughout my whole bodybuilding career, I've just never been exotic and lean before. And at the same time, like with new flavors coming out, like, I'll literally be tasting food and I'll be spitting it out because I just need to get the hint of the flavor and I
Oh
can't spit
yeah,
it down. Which I'm like, man, that was such a mental battle of doing
that would have been
that.
crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
even think
So,
of something like that. That's fucked up.
yeah. So I had to do that. And like, even though even my wife and some of my workers were tasting it, like, again, I have to be, I've got to make sure I get the final say. So I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
chewing it, kind of smelling a bit, just getting a hint and spitting it. I'm like, all right, that's good enough for
Yeah.
me.
That's crazy. That'd be
Um,
such a mind fuck.
yeah, so yeah, but like yeah, just again like working long hours as well. Like there'll be times when we working for like 12 hours straight on my feet non-stop, getting edema on my ankles and whatnot. Cortisol just shooting up high and whatnot as well. But especially with that last prep, like the amount of injuries that I've sustained in that prep was just like unfathomable. I did like a small tear in my left chest the left upper pec, sorry. And then I ended up doing 2 rounds of grade one tears on my right VL. I think it's just due to the fact that like, because I'm just so relentless with training
Yeah.
wise, and I didn't realize like how low calories I was in. Like I'm probably talking like 1,700 calories, like from like 7 weeks out, just to like try to get me peeled because again, it was just so difficult for me to get conditioned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I tore it, couldn't train for 4 weeks, ended up having to take like BBC 157, TB 500, tried to heal it up, and it healed up. And I trained it again, and it tore again.
Oh
So I
my
could not
God.
train legs for about like 6 8 weeks straight, like at
Almost the
all.
whole prep, like half the prep.
Yeah. So then, but yeah, again, I just kept it really quiet. Like I didn't really tell my coach during that time as well, because again, I was like, I felt like that one prep that I did was kind of like that was that moment where I was like, yeah, like this is the point in time where you actually are bodybuilding for the sake of loving bodybuilding and
Yeah.
to become a better bodybuilder, or you're just doing it just because like everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
So I had something to prove to myself mainly. Um, and then yeah, 3 weeks out into that prep, again, just pushing so bloody hard in the gym on low calories. Like I end up like bursting both my blood vessels like really, really bad. Like if like this whole white side of my eye on
Yeah.
both sides, it's just all red.
It's crazy.
So I looked like an absolute vampire. And like I just remember like I walked into the gym, just seeing some of the boys, and they're like, "What the fuck just happened to you?" I'm like, "I'm just pushing." I'm just trying,
Transforming.
yeah, I'm just trying to push. And like, and yeah, again, like yeah, from like my eyes to my quad to my chest, and especially my feet as well. Because I had like not because I was doing like 20,000 steps from the very start of prep
Yeah.
all the way to the end. Um, I had no cushion on my feet at all. So my heels crossed up so badly, like it ended up splitting through the skin. So then like every time I'll take a step, I can feel my heel just like cracking onto the floor. So every time like before I go to sleep, I would have to like not only wear like compression socks, but I'll also have to elevate my feet at the same time because if my heels hit the bed, it hurts.
Yeah. So you
And
went through it. You went through it.
yeah, I went through it like pretty harshly, and like although like I was pretty conditioned on stage, like I could tell like, I was really flat as well,
Yeah.
just because I just could not train as hard as I could, like train like as much as I could just due to the injuries. But again, I just had such a chip on my shoulder that I couldn't afford to quit at the same time. So, but yeah, like resilience and grit like is like again another such a key factor
Yeah.
into prep. Because if you don't have any of those two, then like well you're going to fall apart whenever does come around, when it does get hard. So,
I feel like I guess, obviously it's not ideal or probably necessary, so to speak, but I think sometimes having a prep like that or having that chip in your shoulder and actually proving to yourself that you could overcome it, it kind of like sets a new standard where, like, yeah, the next time you go into prep for season C, it could end up feeling like a walk in a park because of how much have resilience and grit you put in, and the level of like mental fortitude that you now have. And yeah, sometimes I think it's just, some it's like it's hard. It's like sometimes you just have to go through hard shit in life, and I think we want to try to avoid it, but sometimes we also need to prove to ourselves we can do it. And I think that's like, yeah, one of the biggest thing. I feel like all bodybuilders have like a prep where it's just been like felt like hell, and it's like
yeah,
once they've made it through, they're like transformed forever.
yeah. Yeah, it's in a way it's basically just building character
Yeah.
within those circumstances as well because you know again like with bodybuilding it's like if it was so easy and everyone would be doing it right like
Mhm.
hence why like there's a difference between just being either like a casual lifter or like a I guess like a so-called like Instagram bodybuilder
Yeah.
versus like an actual competitive bodybuilder like the gap in between is so far
Yeah.
apart you can't just like randomly identify yourself as a bodybuilder. It's like, no, you have to live it. You have to do it
Yeah.
through prep. It's a 24/7 thing as well. So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons that you can take from being a body and actually put those aspects within other, like whether it's like business and whatnot, because it requires like with bodybuilding, it requires like your 24/7 attention from like your sleep to how much water you're drinking to how much you're eating to what you're eating as well, the supplements you're taking as well, just taking health to accountable. Because again, like with bodybuilding, it's not really the most healthiest sport out there, whether you're both enhanced or natural. But if you're nailing down those foundations like at 100% and you have like a system or a routine that you can follow up every single day with no means on end and basically ticking off the dailies every single day, whether it's like your morning cardio or your supplementations wise or getting your meals in. Like if you're doing it every single day, 24/7, yeah, 24/7, 365 days a week, over a year. Like that's what builds like character, like
Yeah.
in the end, because you're able to like stick to the plans, be able to stay disciplined. And when the time does come when you do prep, it's like, yep, it's just another day. Like it's got to just still stay in the pocket. There's no such thing as like off season. You get to like shut your brain off and have a bit of fun. It's like no, you still gotta. I'd say it's more challenging to stay on task when you're like during the off season and you're in prep because you have that bit of that leniency as well. It's like I'll have like a few cookies on the side here and there, but it's like if you do that for like the next 4 weeks, it's like fuck that kind of adds up in the end. So
It's kind of like when you see the people that, like, yeah, like you said, there is such a margin and like a gap between an actual competitive bodybuilder and like, a hobby builder or an Instagram bodybuilder, because it's like, yeah, you see them and they go, it's like, you know 10 weeks out, feeling great, I'm coming. 8 weeks out, feeling great, I'm coming. I'm putting in the work, hustling
Yeah.
every day. And then it's like 6 weeks out that you hear nothing. 4 weeks
Yeah.
out, you hear nothing. And then all of a sudden it's like, 2 weeks out before show, but they're posting, oh, ready to get this off season underway. And then never on stage.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they weren't able to like have that character and built that character to put in that work to go through that hard shit
Yeah.
to, show up for themselves.
Yeah. I'll tell you the more like I'll tell like the more exciting part, like especially like after finishing show is like I think like again like I would say it's like definitely the improvement side of things, like of like wanting to get better in the off season. As opposed of like with most people when they do compete, it's like, oh, I can't wait to eat all the cookies in the world after this. I can't wait to eat like, eat all the burgers after
Yeah.
this. Which again kind of shows like a different level of mindset of like just like your typical guy that's just getting to bodybuilding versus someone who's like trying to become like really competitive as well. And again, like we've all been through that road where all we think about is food
Mm.
nonstop. But in the same notion as well, when you get to a certain level or that kind of level of experience that you have, all you think about is like, yeah, like once you get like you can't wait to get on stage and present your package. But at the same time, it's like I can't wait to make so much improvements
Mm.
like in the future as well. Because again, like for us bodybuilders, we're so like we're so cutthroat in terms of like how brutal that we want this and how brutal we are with ourselves as well. Hence why
Yeah.
like we have like severe body dysmorphia. It's like, oh, I feel small today. Meanwhile, you're walking around like 110 kilos at like 5% body fat.
Yeah.
So but again, that's just the beauty. I guess that's the beauty of being a competitive bodybuilder. It's just like that constant strive for perfection. I
Yes.
guess.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, I'd love to know what do you think has been like your biggest limitation? Yeah, I guess like biggest limitation to maybe like do you feel like like you said you've kind of had a bit of an up and down with your environment and throughout your whole competition. I feel like there's been times where you've been so close to hitting the mark and then just fell a little bit short and then you've had like a win. What do you think overall has been like your biggest like limitation that you're hopefully hoping to maybe overcome this for like season C next
Yeah.
year?
I guess in a sense it's more like just knowing how good I can be as
Mhm.
well. Because again, I'm just one of those guys where I need people to tell me how good I am.
Yeah.
Because like even during my last show as well, like even though I came third for under 80s at nationals, I still felt like I was like I'm still not good enough, like
Yeah.
not at all. But then like again, like since I've started working with Kevin Vo, as recently, it's like, look, you can be a really dangerous competitor, like a really dangerous competitor. And again, like with guys like with like well, the group of guys I'm with, again, they'll tell me it's like, look, you have the potential there. You just need to realize it and you need to put in the work like properly as well. So I was like, okay. And I was saying something just recently. I'm like, okay, like we're starting to get somewhere, at this point. So I think it's just that self belief as well because again the competitive space within bodybuilding now is so up high as it was
Mm.
like years and years ago um that like that level of standards like is like so risen up as well, especially with like the recent wins from some of the Perth group from like Dashi,
Yeah.
Anton and Larissa winning the pro cards from last season. I was like, man, at that moment, I was like, yep, I need to step up. Like at this point, I can't afford to miss a meal. I can't afford to, kind of slack around for a bit and whatnot. Like I need to lock in every single day. So I think ever since then, as I'm kind of doing my routine now, with that kind of mindset, I'm like, okay, now we're starting to get somewhere. But at the same time, I'm like, is it enough? Like
Mm.
still? So again, like time will tell once we do get to season C. But yeah, I'd say in terms of like just that mindset of just becoming a champion before you are.
Yeah.
Um, is what is needed, like is what the kind of work I'm needed just to kind of really realize my potential. So yeah, it's that self-belief.
So would you say that your self-belief that you struggled with was that you just felt like you were still doing what needed to be done, but you just thought you were never good enough?
Yeah,
And then that was reducing you to kind of maybe do not actually tick all the boxes, or is it more just I guess like it's more the psychological aspect where even though you are still ticking every box, you just were not thinking you were good enough, and then that can just I guess yeah, like it does. It kind of does. It not that it's weird. It's like that. How do you word it?
It's kind of like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking
Yeah,
for.
it's yeah, like yeah, it's basically I'd say it's definitely imposter
Yeah,
syndrome in that sense because I feel like it's like no matter how hard I work, it's like, do I really deserve it?
yeah,
In that sense as well. Like even from my last show, like I was like, did I really deserve third? Like in the end, because I wasn't
yeah,
as conditioned as everyone else. But again, everyone's just like, you have really great shape. So I kind of just have to take it as it is in the meantime. But yeah, again, it's like I just needed people that's really close to me to actually tell me like if I'm good or not.
yeah,
But again, like time will tell. See where it takes me. I just need to just keep doing the work as much as yeah, as hard as I can at this point. And yeah, it's not really putting myself in a position where I feel like I'm going to compromise that mindset.
yeah. I think it's self-talk is super, super like underrated. I feel like there's still a lot of people that don't actually it's I think what's funny is it sometimes like falls into the category of like manifestation, and I know like a lot of people are a bit iffy with that, but it's like if with removing it from manifestation, it's like yeah, your self-talk really does like it's how you view yourself, and even though yeah, you do think you're putting 100% effort in because you kind of also have that imposter syndrome or feel like you don't deserve something, you actually don't realize how much more like that like let's say your effort is 100% but you think you don't deserve it. It's like when you think you do deserve it, all of a sudden that 100% becomes 110%, and it's like crazy because you'll never actually know what that is like until you have more positive self-talk. Like I'm very similar to you. Like I understand like that I'm very, very critical and hard on myself. So it's like when I catch myself having good positive self-talk, I actually end up like performing better than like what I realize. And it's
Yeah.
like it is really a cool thing, and just like trying to learn how to build that momentum. And like you said, you feel like you're in that place now with like your group of friends, with Kevin, with your wife, where you're kind of now being able to have those people who can guide you from that negative self-talk to that positive
Yeah.
belief. So that's really cool to hear. It
Yeah.
makes it exciting for like your next showing.
Yeah, I guess also just having like a constant underdog mindset as
Mm,
well. Like even regardless of win, I'm always thinking like just you're just going to be a constant underdog like nonstop
yeah,
as well. Like probably the only time I felt like I wasn't the underdog was when I competed at the stage show in Perth because like again like I've hidden away from my prep like from like for like 20 weeks straight, and I just remember like I was like, look, I'm 2 weeks out from the show. I'll just post like an update photo of me competing, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Yep, he's going to win that show," and I was like, "Fuck, okay," like the pressure's there,
yeah,
and yeah, like I was ready to go. Yeah, I was like ready to go like a couple of days out, and then again like there was like a change in plans like with my coach's approach, and then eventually like that's built up like really really bad
yeah,
for states as well, and I think it's also because like the amount of stress I was putting myself through as well because of all that pressure, and like yeah, like end up getting third like
yeah,
for the under 85s in Perth, and like I went from like fuck yeah, like I can finally see me winning the show to like just going like downhill.
yeah. That's
So
gotta be
like
hard
yeah,
mentally.
and it's like especially because like the amount of work you put in as well. It's like the wins are fucking like are great to
Mm.
feel, but the losses like you feel like it cuts
Hit
so
twice
much
as hard.
deeper. And like I just remember like I shut off my social media for like 2 weeks straight leading up
Yeah,
towards nationals because I was like I don't want to be hearing like anyone else. Like I just want to just keep pushing, keep grinding with no distractions whatsoever. Like I'm going to the gym with like full trackies, like full tracksuit, hoodie like over my head, just going like full grandma mode because I just like again I was like it cut so personal
yeah,
at that point, and I just kept grinding away and yeah, ended up getting third at nationals, well, which I was like you know what at least like we got top three on a
yeah.
national level, but next time like I definitely want to win at
Come
least
for
my
that
class.
first place.
Yeah,
So I think what would be a really interesting question, and I'd love to hear your opinion, and this would be great for also anyone listening, which is, now that you've kind of like got a new coach, how did you approach it? Like what do you think is something, and I want to know it more from outside of I guess like the generic questions of like, oh, how many wins do they have? How many clients? How do they get their clients in shape? What is something that you think's like a bit underrated or overlooked when it comes to choosing a new coach?
yeah.
And like what kind of I guess like guided you towards choosing Kevin as your new
Yeah.
coach?
It's the main factor is the I guess like the level of like what your belief system is in terms of like training approaches and diet approach and whatnot, especially with PEDs as well. Um, and like again, like I've been speaking to Kevin for quite a bit as well. So then like when I saw him at Nationals like just recently, we had a good chat about it. Like I guess discussing like his approaches in training, his approaches in diet and whatnot. Again, just like yeah, in terms of like yeah, trying to go for like more of a like a low stress kind of approach as well. Um, yeah, I was like, you know what, there's quite a few things that I do agree with your approach as well. As comparisons to my previous coach as well. And just trying to find correlation beliefs on top of that as well. Um, because like again, like you can have one guy that can have like 20 like pro wins or 20 pro card wins and whatnot. But it's like if his approach and his belief system doesn't really match with yours, then it's like, well, it's not really guaranteed that you're going to be the next guy to win that pro card or get that win for your next show. So I think yeah, I think it's just yeah, sorry about that. That sense of like belief system in terms of like what their training approaches, their diet approaches, and like how they kind of coach you in that sense. Or and again, more just like the level of communication as well, because you're able to communicate. It is a team sport. It's kind of like a team sport after all, right? Like you need two hands to kind of communicate with each other and basically just try to, I guess, navigate your way to having like a really good prep leading up towards the show. So,
How do you approach, I guess, like, because being with your last coach for so long, how do you kind of approach, like, do you take all the data that because that's the thing, like, it's the whole concept of, if you want to kind of stick with the coach got to learn your body,
yeah.
and you collect all this data. How do you kind of bring that? Like, are you kind of going to Kevin and kind of scrapping all the data that you already have and starting afresh, or do you kind of bring over some data that you know that works and what doesn't work, um, and see kind of allow Kevin to kind of take that data? Like, how are you kind of approaching that? Are you just completely starting afresh?
It's more like I'm actually just bringing some of the data over to Kevin just so he gets like a bit of a head start of how my body works, while at the same time implementing his ways of approach and seeing how my body can change with it on top of the data that I have as well. Um, because yeah, like for example, with my previous coach, like he is very high into like real high into like tracking like eating a lot more potassium than needed within my diet. But then like with Kevin, it's like no, we don't really need that much. Like we just be a lot more moderate. Like you don't have to like be eating that much potassium on top of that as well. Even with like training wise, like as well, it is vastly different as compared to my previous coach. But I just know for a fact that in terms of like rep ranges, how I recover on certain rep ranges or what exercise selection we're doing, like I just really know how to navigate that. And like yeah, Kevin just already has that trust in me in trying to navigate with my training as well. So like although like he's giving me the programs, like again, like he could like if there's one exercise I can swap out for another exercise that's in a very similar movement pattern, I'll just tell Kevin and Kevin's like, yep, that's completely fine. That's all good. Like I know you like I know you've been training really hard. I know you have the experience as well, and the knowledge on top of that. So yeah, in a way, it's like we're able to not really compromise, but again, just have that collaboration on working together as well with the previous data I had as well.
Yeah, that I guess that is actually pretty more straightforward than what I thought it would be. For some reason, I thought like it would kind of. I guess it just like you said, it really does depend. I think some people kind of are happy to completely, start fresh. But I guess when you have been competing for how long you have, you kind of do know what works and what doesn't work for you, and you have kind of really tested the limits of like, yeah, your recovery standpoint.
Yep.
So it then, yeah, it does make things easier. And like I said, I guess this really shows the importance of having a coach and like, yeah, having the same beliefs, being able to gel well. And it just makes that, it sounds like the process of changing coaches, I know like it can be hard, but it sounds like it's just been super smooth sailing, which is
Yep.
then hence, like that coach you're doing that mini aggressive cut at the moment, and like that post you posted in the posing room or in the mirror, wherever that was, you're looking great. Fucking looking huge, like looking really good. So like obviously, something's working.
Yeah.
How
I
long
mean,
how long have you been with Kevin now?
so we're officially heading in towards week 6 now
Hmm.
into well with Kevin. So yeah, so like original was supposed to be like a 4 week aggressive mini cut, but we decided to do like an extra week
Mhm.
as well, just to kind of top things off as well, and again to get more data into the play before we yeah, and then now just starting today, getting to like a bit of like a 4 week rebound, just yeah, just get my body to adjust to like new like extra like amounts of food that we're eating, and then eventually we'll start doing like growth weights
Mhm.
on top of that, leading up towards like 18 weeks before the Perth show, and then after do Perth, we'll do Sydney. Then we're going to do nationals over in Melbourne, and then after on top of that, we're going to the amateur O for Vegas as well, just to kind of see where I stand in terms of like the conditioning and obviously like with my physique standpoint on an international level. So like in terms of pro card wise, realistically speaking, I don't think it'll be like I'll be ready for a pro card at that moment. But I'd say like the next competition after this one will be the one where we actually really try to shoot for it for sure.
It must be exciting because will that be your if you when you go to the amateur, will that kind of be your like your first overseas show?
Yeah, it'll be my very first
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
overseas show. But then like at the same time, my wife wants me to do the Vietnam show, which I'm pretty sure it's like 6 weeks after. Only because she wants to go to Vietnam because she loves going to Vietnam, and we're both Vietnamese as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like at the same time, like I was like in terms of like the level of competition as well. It feels a lot better to win at least a pro card in Melbourne
Hmm.
because the standards that we have are so bloody higher up. Whether it's like there are some international shows we can get like an easy pro card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But again, like time will tell. In the meantime, but yeah, so the main shows we're doing is like yeah, Perth, Sydney, Melbourne Nationals, and then the amateur. And after, just have a bit of a good old time eating all the goodies and
Yeah.
training all the amazing gyms over there too.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds exciting. What is like, I guess, the overall like game plan compare? So let's say what is the game plan that you want to bring, like the package that you're hoping to bring? Is it like a new level of conditioning? Is it added size in certain areas? Like how has Kevin kind of taken your last showing and going, all right, this is what we're gonna do to now make you super competitive because he has the belief in you to kind of go, yeah, it's time for you to, get your flowers and, represent the package that you've been wanting to bring for so
Yeah.
long.
Well, definitely just overall size.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that I am a bit of more the shorter end. For like under 90s, because I know most blokes are doing under 90s like sitting around like 6 foot, like 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting at like 5'8". Um, but yeah, it was like overall size, a lot better conditioning, a lot more tighter, like more of a tighter package. But also just mainly just again putting muscles in the right areas. So for example, like my back is one, my hamstrings, and so definitely my chest as well. And also kind of like overall tightness around my abs
Hmm.
is like the main focal point for this for this I guess improvement season coming up as well. But like overall, just obviously just get a lot bigger overall and just try to keep it a lot more tighter
Yeah.
throughout the off season. So once we do start prep at 18 weeks out, then like we don't really necessarily have to like really dig deep as hard as we need
Yeah.
to at that point. But overall tighter package, um, overall density on certain muscle groups, and yeah, just to be a lot more conditioned at
Yeah.
that point.
Well, I feel like you're kind of like in that if being if you can like yeah, I guess really fill out that frame more and bring it in tighter because you have such nice like flow and structure. You are I can see it's like kind of like how like Cam George came and like just like took everybody out when he won his pro
Yep.
card because he is that like really good height and just like completely fills that frame out. So it's like
Yep.
yeah, I guess like and he has great flow too. So you kind of I guess in some way wanting to like yeah replicate that type of package,
Yep.
which I could see that definitely happening. So
Yeah, and it's just like just making sure that like we're still keeping our like shape overall
yeah,
as we get bigger as well. Because yeah, like it's like the last you want to do is like yeah get bigger, but then it's like you lose
yeah,
like I guess like the aestheticness
yeah,
to your physique as well. Because again like just growing up watching guys like Kev Levrone, Sean Ray, and all those guys like again because those guys are bloody massive, but they have such great shape. Even from like Tony Freeman as well. Like it's like if I can bring a similar package to that in an opens category, then it's like it's quite a unique look within a sea of like mass monsters
yeah,
as well. And like yeah, especially considering the fact that there isn't really there's barely any Asians that's doing opens bodybuilding, so I feel a bit of a loner in that
Yeah, yeah,
department.
yeah.
But at the same time, it is sweet to kind of like go into the fray
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
that.
Well, you know, it's crazy though. Like some of like the pro, like the open, like pro Asian guys, they've just got like it's like you all just naturally have like this tiny waist, and
Yeah.
then all somehow able to pack on like I don't know if he's a 212 competitor or if he's an open, but yeah, he just I don't know what his name is, but he just looks insane. Like the waist like this and just these massive quads, massive like shoulders, like so fucking wide.
Is that Chinese 212 bodybuilder you're talking
Yeah,
about?
must be.
Yeah, yeah, and he's bald as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
The only downside for us is like yeah like we can get like really great shape for the front especially like in the legs as well like
Yeah, yeah,
I've yet to see like an Asian with like small legs so
yeah,
far, even with like men's physique. But
yeah, yeah,
the only limiting factor is like we have everything else is big, but we have such shitty backs. Like,
yeah,
like my like I call it thing. I call it like Asian back syndrome, where it's
yeah.
like we look great everywhere else, but our backs just like
Backs are just
lagging.
trash.
So yeah, so like I'm trying to do everything I can to not get into that stereotype in that
Yeah,
sense
yeah, yeah.
as well. So
That's exciting. No, it's exciting. I'm excited to see where things go. Like watching what Kevin had done with like Nathan and some of his other clients this season. Like he had like an amazing track record. So it's exciting to see him get like more clients. So I've been like having little chats with him and stuff, and he like really wants to have top pro Olympian. Like he wants to be one of those coaches, and
yep,
he's already shown that that capability is there. So it's exciting to see more people kind of come together like that.
yeah,
It's really cool. It's like what you said. Australia's standard, it's like there'd been a massive gap. I think COVID ruined a lot of it, unfortunately, but
yep,
there had been that kind of gap where like the standard that used to be in like the 2016s, 2015s is like starting to come back now and it
yep,
almost even like improving on that. So it's
yep,
like the Australian bodybuilding is like never been better. So it's awesome
yeah.
to see.
Yeah, and I just really like the scarcity of like the pro card as well, where it's like
Yeah.
they're only handing out one per division twice a year
Yeah.
on those seasons as well. So it's like in a way, it's like well, it's like time is running out, but then like you're gonna like make sure you're pushing a lot
Yeah.
harder for you to kind of earn that as well. Like even just seeing like even seeing some like the Aussies like kind of like do so well like on an international level as well. Like I'm pretty sure we had one bikini girl that won her pro card over in the States as well.
Mhm.
And like again, Jake getting second in his open
Yeah,
class
he
in
did
a very
unreal
stacked
in the
lineup.
amateur O.
Oh no, he's like he's another bloke that has had so much potential, but he just didn't realize it.
Mhm.
But then now you're starting to see him like flourish.
Yeah.
Again, being in the right environment and having like that kind of athlete mindset as well. So yeah, so shout out to Jake for for showing up for himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited to see him doing
Awesome
like
to
that
see.
work.
And he's working, and him and Tom, they're doing very good. I think it shows the importance of, in the key lesson here, like in today's episode, really is a good environment and a good, like, coach that believes in you and
Yeah.
can help push you in the right way. You're going to make some magic together.
Yeah, culmination of having a great coach who you're able to collab with, like and have an amazing environment of like of your mates as well
Mm.
within the same with like a very like similar mindset into bodybuilding and like again just having like a great like an amazing great wife on top of that. I think like that's all you need in
Yeah.
bodybuilding and nothing else.
Well said. Well said. Well, what would you like to be remembered for as an athlete and I guess as you grow your coaching service? How do you kind of once your career is over and done with, what do you want people to remember you as an athlete? And then yeah, what do you kind of want, I guess, to be like, when people think of you as a coach, like what do you want people to think of first?
Oh, that's a really good question actually. Hmm. I would say as an athlete is no matter what your circumstances are, or no matter what kind of cards they've been dealt with in your life, if you're still able to work as hard as you can and earn some of your cards back, then if you're able to play your cards right, then everything will fall into place.
Mhm.
So yeah, it just matters like just being very relentless with your work, just working as much as you can to kind of earn your stripes and to be able to showcase it, whether it's on stage or whether it's on business. Like at the end of the road, like there's always a light in the tunnel. And if you play your cards right, then everything will fall into place as well. Um, and yeah, and I guess as a coach as well, just making an impact towards like the younger audience because
Yeah.
I used to be very lost right after high school. Like again, like just going through like certain like adversities along the way. At one point when I was younger, because I was so alone, as well, I had no one there, like fall into like some form of like porn addiction and all that kind of stuff as well. And just showing that like you can get out of it. Like you just have to be relentless of like trying to strive to become the very person that you want to be to look up to as well. So yeah, so if there was a younger Tony that's looking at me now, like he would be really really proud
Hmm.
that he's becoming that as well. So just be absolutely relentless with work, stay as grit as much as possible, and just make sure you're just around with your loved ones, your friends and family that truly supports you for not only for who you are, um, but to acknowledge the amount of work you're putting in and having that absolute support from the start to finish.
I love that. I love that. I think it's so nothing's more rewarding when you can like kind of like sit back, think about your younger self and know like they would be proud. Like
Yeah,
I'm doing them proud. Like I've come
yeah,
so far. I think there's nothing it's funny. It's like when you want to talk about like how do you like live a happy life, it's kind of like you get to this certain age and it's like all of a sudden it's like I guess you join the real world and then it's like the way you thought as a kid just like I guess somehow like just does not exist anymore, but you
yeah,
can remember like what that was like. And it's like, you're constantly just trying to, I guess, survive and, do chase your dreams and that. And then I think it's so important to be able to reflect and look back and go, you know what, I'm doing them proud. And I think that really can help translate into like, yeah, a long, happy life.
yeah. Oh, 100%. And like, yeah, again, like the fruits of your labor, the more you put in, like it becomes so much more
Mm.
sweeter to enjoy. That's for sure.
Right. Well, one last question before we wrap
Yep.
things up. What is, I guess, your current life mantra? What are you kind of living? Because something I actually really like that you refer to often actually is like, being in the trenches, like, going to war. I really like that mentality, I guess, or that communication that you have in that way. I think it symbolizes really well with bodybuilding. I think, you want to approach every situation like yeah, like you going to war, you're trying to survive, you're putting in everything that you can. So I guess, is that kind of what your current life mantra is, or has it evolved recently? Like how are you kind of living each day going forward right now
Yeah.
compared to the past?
I guess in a sense it's still like that as well, but in terms of like the bigger picture on top of bodybuilding, where it's like again, because like now me and my wife are married, um, like now it's like yeah, although yes, I'm trying to go into war and try to, I guess, maximize this bodybuilding career, but at the same time, as I'm going through these experiences and as we have kids and they grow up and see my experiences, then it's like, well, you know, I want to work just as hard as just like their father.
Hmm.
And again, just being absolutely relentless in terms of their efforts into what they're putting in as well. So it's like it's not just for myself for that self-gratification in terms of like hitting my goals, but at the same time just being an example towards to my future kids, and I guess like being an example for the next generation of
Yeah.
of guys that's trying to get into bodybuilding and whatnot. So it's still the same, but it's more in the more broader spectrum now, I'd say.
Yeah. No, I think that's important. I think being able to kind of like that's one thing that like it's funny. I heard well, I actually heard it from your last coach, but I like it. I had never really thought about it that way, and it like really resonated with me, which was kind of like he always talks about um you're a good parent or you're a good father when like or I guess a good parent when like your kid wants to be around you.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really funny. It's like, I know for myself, like, I don't have like the best relationship with my father. So it's really funny. Like I live like the same type of mentality of like, I want to set that precedent and that relentless effort of always putting in the work, but being a good example for like other people and like for my children that
Yeah.
they go, I want to be like my dad. I want to, or whoever it may be, that person inspires me because it's like, they put in so much effort. So it's really cool, like hearing that, you kind of feel the same. And
Yeah.
I respect that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess like if there's something that's missing within your life that you kind of like derive so much, it's like you want to become
Yeah.
that example towards
Yeah.
someone else as well. Because like again, it just feels that void
Yeah.
on top of that. So yes, for me, it's like well, I've never been like that example, like got into that position where I had that kind of experiences. So at least like if I can put into work to become that
Mm.
example, then in a way that fills up the void and kind of gives me like a whole different level of like gratification on top of that, where it's like finally, like I'm actually it's like I'm not just being like just like not just a bodybuilder, but I'm actually just showing a good example
Yeah.
of what it means to be to be a good role model
Yeah.
as well. So
And it's important. You're kind of like you're almost creating you're allowing a negative thing that's happened to you, or an experience, and you're kind of then saying this is stopping here with me, and I'm now
yeah,
going to make a positive outcome from this. And I think we're getting now. I was like having a conversation with someone else on a different podcast episode, and they were kind of talking about, they're all really about like, spreading positivity, and kind of like, people should be more kind. Everyone should, they really just want to kind of be remembered for being positive. And it's like, yeah, it's so important kind of, you know, taking on what's happened and then turning it positive and being that positive example for all the people around you. Because it's like, the more people that end up being positively impacted by you, the greater impact that you can actually have.
yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
super important.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's for sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for having a chat. It's been great. I really enjoyed it. And I'm excited for everyone to listen. And I'm excited to see what you and Kevin get up to and what package you're going to bring. And hopefully, get that placing that you deserve.
No, no, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on a podcast. Like this is my very first podcast being on. So no, it's been a great experience. Like I was quite nervous like leading up towards it because I just
Yeah.
never like I guess like been in this kind of environment before. But again, you've been awesome to like speak to as well. And like yeah,
Thank
again,
you.
like more than happy to more than happy to I guess explain or I guess sharing my life experiences along with you as well. So
Yeah.
no, much appreciated. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's funny. I like that you say that you're a bit nervous. It's like that's like way more common than I realized. Like it's like I could, because I'm like want to kind of like speak to everybody. Like it was funny. I was talking to my partner the other day, and I was like, you know what? Like imagine if I did like a podcast a day. I could get through 365 people. And I'm like, imagine if I went fuck it, I'm gonna do two a day. That's
Yeah,
like 654 people. And then it's just like, and I was like thinking about it, I'm like, that would be so hard, but it's like what's even crazy is that's probably like what 5% are Australian bodybuilders.
yeah,
It's like it would be so cool. Like I'm just never going to be able to talk to everybody,
yeah.
but that is like I guess in some way my goal, but I don't realize that it's like yeah, I'm because that's what I want to do. I want to give everybody like an opportunity and a platform to share their story. Like that's the point. But it's funny. It's like I don't because of that I don't realize that yes sometimes or like it's so different from what an experience like you said. It's the first time you've ever had a podcast or
Yeah.
done one. So it's like it's funny thinking oh yeah they're probably nervous like you know what I mean like as like not trying to be what's the word in insensitive about it. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's I guess because I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
I've done it, so yeah, it's just funny. But I'm glad that I've had a very good track record. That everyone that I've talked to has ended up feeling really comfortable. So I'm gonna roll with that.
No, then like no, honestly, like that. No, it's been a great experience because yeah, because again, it's like you don't know what the questions are as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and like I guess like it's a very good way for me to, I guess, trying to navigate my mind and how I'm going to explain things as well. Because like again, like probably the only interviews I had is for like a job interview,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah,
it. But no, it's I guess it's like a good way to kind of like yeah, just kind of like help formulate your your opinions and what you're going to say like
yeah,
properly, efficiently too. Um, and so like that way we do communicate to people, especially, yeah, especially whether it's like through a podcast or through like an interview or just even speak to someone on the road, like you're able to like, I guess, formulate of how you're going to say things
mm,
or how you're going to communicate a lot more fluently as well. And you kind of like in a way present yourself a lot better in
yeah,
that
yeah.
sense. So no, but it was a good learning curve, very good experiences like on top of that as well. So
You did
but
great. Honestly, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't even thought like you spoke perfectly. I would not even thought you were nervous or anything.
I mean, there was a few stutters here and there,
Yeah,
but
but that's normal. I still do that. Like, I got like the worst habit of like I'll I'm thinking, but sometimes like my mouth can't keep up with like what I'm thinking, and then all of a sudden, and then I'll blank, and then like there's been times where I know like all of a sudden I'm like just like staring off trying to think, and I don't even realize I haven't spoken for like 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, I
yeah.
forgot. But I think that's another thing that I love. Like for me, like that's the thing. There's like I don't ever want it to necessarily feel like an interview. Like for me, it's really just I want it to be raw. I want it to just be like we're just having a chat and you're
Yeah.
just sharing stuff about you so people can learn and leaving your mark as a an Australian bodybuilder. Then people
Yeah.
getting to know
And
you.
just shooting the shit basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much. So yeah, thank you again, man, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. No, you too. And again, thanks so much for the opportunity. And yeah, we'll be definitely excited to see how many more people you're gonna be interviewing in the future. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you.